The year was 2012. I was in primary school. Oh no, was it that long ago? I'm getting old. Anyway, my friend comes up to me and tells me about this really cool game he's been playing called Roblox, and he convinced me to try it. Basically, the only other game I'd played at the time was Club Penguin, and it took me a while to convince my parents to let me play it. But when they did, the whole concept was really cool. There was tons of games you could play, and you could even make your own. But obviously, over time, I grew up, and I didn't fall into their target demographic anymore. But over the last few years, I've learned how to program games, and I realised that I might have slid slightly back into it, but not as a player this time, instead as a creator. And recently, I've had quite a few suggestions to make a game in Roblox, especially after I tried out a similar platform called Core, something that aims to be quite similar to it. So today, I'm going to learn how to make a game in Roblox for you all to play. Now, looking around Roblox, I see that blatantly ripping off actual games is pretty popular, so I'm also going to work on a rip-off. And the game I'm going to try and make is going to be a rip-off of my commercial game Propulsion, which you should totally wishlist on Steam. Honestly, making this game wasn't actually that hard, which isn't entirely surprising considering it's literally made for children. When I installed Roblox, it also installed an app called Roblox Studio, which is an editor environment like Unity. It allows you to program, make levels, and configure other things like file management. And it really isn't bad. Like, at all. I can completely see someone using this and being pretty content with it. It offers a load of features and conforms pretty well to industry standards, which is good if kids are trying to get into game development through this platform. But that's probably enough talking about the editor. We have a game to make. The first thing I had to set up was the actual gameplay, which was the thing I was dreading. Roblox surprisingly doesn't offer visual scripting of any kind, instead offering Lua as the programming language that people need to use. And if you see my core video, which you likely have, because it accounts for a stupidly large amount of views on my channel, you know I have a problem with Lua, and my problem can be summed up really easily with 2 words. It sucks. Like, bad. Honestly, if you like pain, be my guest to program in it, but all of my experience with this language has only been negative. But anyway, on to working on the game. Propulsion is a first-person game, but Roblox is mostly a third-person game. We have the option for the player to adjust it as they like. We're going to rob the player of that opportunity and use a bit of code to lock them into first person. So now we can look around all we want, which is pretty nice, but this default movement is nothing like Propulsion, so we need to give that a change. Fortunately for me, Propulsion's movement is as close as I can make it to Quake's movement, which is a pretty popular game, so it's likely that someone else has also made a movement system like Quake's for Roblox, another popular game. Fortunately, they had, and I didn't need to go through the painful process of going through my code and porting it. With a few tweaks, it felt pretty similar, so it was good enough for me. I scattered some islands around the place, and we had a basic level, but we can't actually play through it yet, because we're missing the main gameplay element of the game, being the rocket launcher. I tried programming this myself, but I got stuck on applying force to the player, so I resorted to looking online. I found exactly what I wanted in the form of a really old Roblox blog post, but tragically, there was no actual information as to the code behind the mechanic. After a bit longer of searching though, I actually found the world that the writer of the blog post has used, and fortunately it had editing enabled, so I quickly opened up the world, found the script behind the rocket jumping mechanic, exported the rocket launcher as a file, and re-imported it into my game. From there, it was just dragging and dropping a few models and changing a few parameters, and boom, the rocket jumping was working in my game. But then, disaster struck. There was building work going on at my house at the time, and one of the workers accidentally tripped a wet light switch, cutting off my electricity and shutting off my PC. Not only did this mean that I lost about 40 minutes of footage, but I also lost about half an hour's worth of progress on the map and also the rocket jumping mechanic. Once my PC was back up and running, this was an easy fix, only taking about 10 minutes to get back up to where I was in terms of the rocket launching. But I couldn't get the level back, so I left that for later. After that, I quickly made a timer following a tutorial, and then decided I did actually need to finish the level, so I set to work on that. Before working on the level though, I wanted to work on a tiny bit of art. I thought this would be really hard, but fortunately the Roblox asset importer is much better than I've heard people say, and I had no problem importing most of the assets that I needed. But here's where things get stupid. I went to place down a tree, and I realised that Roblox doesn't support having multiple materials on one game object, which is utterly stupid. And the stupidity doesn't stop there, because I went to look for how I could get my trees looking nice in game, but Roblox doesn't support custom shaders. Why? I don't know, but it looks like we're sticking to flat coloured rock. From there, I built out the level like a traditional obstacle course map. I decided to integrate the seasons from Propulsion, but I did them in a way that instead of affecting the game, because I couldn't be bothered to program more lure, I just used them as progress markers really. Now, I finished the level and went to add a proper timer like in Propulsion, but I just couldn't. It was getting late, and I spent ages trying to get it to work, but I was having problems with collision, and triggering respawns, and saving data, and messing with server stuff, and I really just couldn't be bothered. I actually think it'd be easier to remake this timer system without a game engine than in Roblox. But with that defeat, I decided to call the game finished and uploaded it. You can play it by following the link in the description, but I'm not sure why you'd want to, especially when you can get Propulsion on Steam very soon. Overall, I was actually pretty surprised how good Roblox is for making games. It's certainly a lot better than when I tried booting up the editor when I first got the game. I really don't think Roblox is actually that bad, and you can certainly make decent games with it if you put time into it, which I didn't. But don't take my word for it. There are people out there where their job is to make games for this platform, so it's obviously sustainable, and I might have been a bit harsh. Lewis still sucks though. But thanks a lot for watching this video. You can like and subscribe to help inflate my ego, and I hope you have a good day. There's a link to my Discord down in the description, and also a link to Wishlist Propulsion. But while you're here, you might enjoy something I prepared earlier. Lure sucks. It's really bad. Why was it invented? It makes me mad. Only created for the visual vanity. Drives everyone who uses it to insanity.